or California. Virginia is combining. They're saying, we'll join as a state. We'll cover night and day prayer as a state through the watches of the night and the day. It's happening. It's going on all over the earth. Do you know where it's even going on? Taronga, New Zealand. Have you ever been to New Zealand? If you go, you will understand why they describe New Zealand as beautiful. It's stunning. But do you know, no matter how beautiful your country is, no matter how beautiful the landscape is, when you've tasted Jesus, you've got to close your eyes anyway. Have you ever noticed that? I'm standing on Mount Maunganui overlooking the Bay of Plenty. You could have just heard cellos in the background. It was lovely. But you know what? After a minute, they're doing it. After a minute, I had to close my eyes anyway. Why? Because nothing compares to him. Nothing. You have to close your eyes. They're doing it in Taronga, all over the earth, in Jerusalem, in Israel, Beersheba. They're doing it. The incense is arising. Oh, beloved, do you understand? It's never going back. Do you understand? Right now is the least amount of worship there will be from this moment on. Tomorrow will be more. The next month will be more. The next month after that will be more. Why? Because he's worthy. It's happening. All over the earth, God is bringing forth the incense. It's happening. It's emerging. It's taking place. God is answering the Lord's Prayer on earth as it is in heaven. Did you know right now, if right now this room was to have a corporate encounter, if right now the veil between heaven and earth suddenly was gone and suddenly 25,000 were taken up around the sea of glass, don't think it's not possible. 500 saw the resurrected Jesus all at once. And he is powerful enough where at any given moment, say right now, he took us up and we stood on the sea of glass. Do you know what you would see? You would see unending adoration by the governmental leaders in heaven. And you would see perpetual prayer as Jesus at the right hand of the Father ever lives to make intercession for all his enemies to be subdued underneath his feet. If we were to go to heaven right now, if the veil was rent and suddenly we got like John, take it up, and suddenly we were on the sea of glass, we would understand that around God's throne is unending worship and unceasing perpetual prayer. We would see it. Now here's the good news. Jesus didn't give us that prayer so he wouldn't answer it. He's going to answer that prayer. And Ephesians 1, 9 and 10, the very centerpiece of God's purpose, that he's bringing all things together in heaven and on earth in his Son. Jesus is bringing the heavenly realms and the earthly realms together in himself. And as the day draws nearer of his return, and as those realms start coming together, beloved, do you understand? On earth as it is in heaven, you will see unceasing prayer and unceasing adoration emerge in every language, every tribe, every tongue, every nation. It's out there. It's happening. Oh, I tell you, as the day draws closer, as the day of Jesus' return, as the eternal age draws nearer, the desire for prayer and worship will only increase among the young people. They're never going back. They're never going back. Let me just say this. The virus is out. It's already caught. It's gone viral. God God and His greatness has gone viral, and the next generation has done something my generation didn't. They've caught a vision of God, and they're never going back to Sunday morning only Christianity. It's over. It's over. Will we gather on Sundays? Yes. But will we sing Monday through Sunday all the time? Yes. God's answering the prayer of the church that we pray and that He taught us to pray. On earth as it is in heaven. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, and His kingdom is run and it's orchestrated in the midst of night and day worship and prayer. Oh, beloved, do we understand? It's never going back. It's never turning back. Why? They're doing it. They got a vision for it. And God is answering our prayers. He took our prayers serious. He's going to bring on earth what's in heaven. Oh, I could give you so many other reasons why God's doing it tonight. It's the way He releases His power. Did you know it's in the midst of worship, or I'll say it this way, worship and prayer are the very vehicles by which God releases His power. Did you know even the second person of the Trinity had to ask His Father to give Him the nations? How much more do we? Prayer looses His government. It releases His power and resources into the affairs on the earth. When the church prays, when we worship, God is moved and He breaks out. Imagine the glory that you and I have. Today we had the mayor come to us, but very few of us could get an appointment with our mayor, much less the police chief. But today you can close your eyes and stand before the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords and lift your weak voice in a prayer, and God hears you and releases divine decrees that angels fulfill. Beloved, do you know how noble you are as a creature? The one creature that gets to ask God for things. The one creature that when you sing, He moves with His power. Do you know what a privilege that is? No other creature gets to walk into the throne room of God, into the holy place, seated with Christ in heavenly places, and ask for things like we do. Every day you walk right in. You close your eyes. Break through, God. Help. Deliver. Save. And guess what? He hears you. And He answers. Oh, beloved, we could talk about tonight the eternal reality of worship and prayer. Beloved, do you know long after missions is done, we'll still be praying, we'll still be worshiping, long after devils have been put in their right place in the lake of fire. Long after the eternal age has been escorted in. Long after healing's done. Why? Because everybody is made whole. Resurrected, glorified human bodies shining in the brilliance of 1,000 stars. Long after that, we'll still be worshiping. We'll still be praying. Oh, we could talk about many things, but you know, I want to talk about something more fundamental than all those things. It's this. Night and day worship and prayer is the only fitting response to the infinite greatness of God and the infinite worth of His Son. Beloved, do you know God is worth more than 24/7? I have pastors ask me all over the world, it's a legitimate question, but they ask me, is night and day prayer necessary? I go, no, it's not necessary. Are you kidding me? Is it necessary? As if it's our obligation. 24/7 is our constraint. It's our limitation on this side. Within time, we're constrained. Beloved, do you know God is infinitely worth more than continual prayer? He's infinitely worth more than 24/7. Beloved, He's worth 25/8 if you could give it to Him. He's worth 25/8, 169 or whatever it would be. He's worth it all. God in his greatness, his nature elicits worship. Beloved, we don't have to do worship. We get to do worship. We don't have to do prayer. We get to do prayer. It's our great privilege of being born again. It's our great eternal privilege to recognize God's infinite greatness and give him the worship due his name. Did you know that God's nature, I mean, can you imagine walking up to a living creature or a seraphim and asking them in the courts of heaven, do you really think this is necessary? I understand you've got 4 faces on your head and eyes all over, but is this balanced? Is this a balanced thing in heaven? I mean, shouldn't you do something else? Can you imagine asking a living creature or a seraphim, is this necessary? I can picture one of the living creatures. How did he get in here? I guess he hasn't seen him yet. Can you imagine that? In heaven, no one would dare ask that. Anyone who's ever seen God, and the very question reflects our lack of the knowledge of God and his infinite greatness. I don't have to worship him. I get to. And if I could see a little bit more of him, I'd give him more. He's the transcendent one. He's the all-powerful one. He's the one with all knowledge. He's the one who contains all things within himself. He's the one that Psalm 113 says, the highest heavens cannot contain him. Do you know it says he has to stoop, he has to condescend to observe the heavens. Can you imagine that? The highest heavens can't contain him, and he has to bend down to look at the heavens. Oh. The Milky Way. Earth. Wow. North America. Kansas City. One thing. Oh, I love that place. And then that one atheist going, and I can just picture God going, he's so cute. He's infinite in his greatness. Do you know the church has a doctrine? It's a wonderful doctrine. It's called the doctrine of incomprehensibility. Say that with me. Incomprehensibility. Try spelling it. It's difficult. Incomprehensibility. But you know what it means? It means this, that God cannot be exhaustively known in even one of his attributes. Do you know what that means? Do you know you will never exhaust the knowledge of God in even one of his attributes? Did you know that? Did you know tonight we can preach on the mercy of God, or like Mike set forth, the humility of God? But do you know, 1 billion years from now, in your resurrected body, a wave of glory will come out of the throne room of God. It will strike you in the chest